Hey, good morning. How are you doing? Recently, Gabriel Bach, who was a former Israeli persecutor, was passed away, and he was one of the persecutors inquiring into war criminal responsibility of Adolf Eichmann, who is known as the executive of Schutzstaffel in Nazi and executor of Holocaust. And Gabriel was 94 years old. And regarding this news, I want to share my opinion about the War Criminal Court on this case in Israel. So for introductory remark, I fully understand the circumstance of Jews' tragedy and how they walked through the tragic life and tragic history. And so it is really hard to explain this by words, but I can't accept what Israeli did until passing the death sentence to Eichmann in a court. So this is unmistakably retaliation act pretending to take legal proceedings. So firstly, Secret Service Mossad investigated hideout of Eichmann at Buenos Aires in Brazil, and it abducted all of a sudden right after he got off the bus, and it detained him. So this is kidnap. So after that, without being noticed by the government of Brazil, Mossad made him wear a uniform of cabin attendant to deceive the eyes of immigration officers at the airport and took him to Israel. So the court for laying a war criminal charge of Eichmann was first, where prosecutor just made him excuse for what he did in spite of having a fixed scenario and a fixed ending. So it is obvious what sentence was judged at a court beforehand. So settlement of this case in court was on purpose to appear to the world that this was formal legal proceedings. So I think this retaliation act is partially similar to the picture of victorious country versus defeated country at World War II, where you can see the International Military Tribunal for the Far East in Japan, like all the Japanese high-class military officers was judged as war criminals because this was the hardship for Japan to undergo as a defeated country by United States. So simply what I want to point out here was Jews' thoughts of emotion of retaliation have developed through long history of persecution as only the way to survive in the world. And I know it is really difficult for them to relieve from the sense of grudge to people or country that invited tragedy to Jews. But unless getting over the curse of retaliation, they can't get out of the endless spiral of retaliation forever, I think.